Hey y'all, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bailey.
Welcome to Livin on a Prayer.
We're two best friends who are here to keep it real and relatable.
Through life's hills and valleys, we're here to remind you we're all just living on a prayer. Are you living on a prayer today?
Well, we are. I am, but I feel...
I didn't ask about me, I asked about you.
Oh, sugar, how you get so
So
high?
today we have nothing planned. There's nothing on our hearts we want to talk about. So we're just going to talk.
See what Jesus wants us to talk about. So we usually come in and we pre-plan.
Usually something's on our heart.
Yeah, so we pre-plan.
We really want to talk about.
Because it's also, this has been such a good little, therapy for us. When you get to, actually speak things out that you maybe have been, holding in. It feels really good to, say it out loud. So we usually kind of pre-plan off of that. We also have tons of things we just want to talk about. But today we're just feeling like silly Willy.
She's a mom.
Oh gosh, yeah, there's the mom verbiage.
All right, but so open that Bible.
Yeah, we decided we're gonna
go to a verse.
We're just gonna kind of pick blindly. So the back of my Bible has a help finder section, which I love. So it has just a lot of keywords like fear, marriage, money, all these things. And it kind of takes you to different sections of the Bible that helps you with that thing, help finder. So I'm let's just do a random, close my eyes, pick
Search.
it out. Okay? Ooh, it's a lot of pressure.
Here we go.
Here we go. Shut up. Fear. Hoo-ha. Literally, Kristen's I think we should do the episode on fear. And I was
Bailey was
no.
No, let's do something lighter and funny. But you know what?
Are you kidding me?
No, Jesus is
Yo,
not
she
kidding.
literally was I want to do fear. And I was no, let's do something
not so heavy.
But here we are because clearly that's something we need to be talking about.
I guess we got to get it out.
Fear.
We shouldn't be fearful. And here's the thing. Right now, I don't know. I guess I don't.
I'm still
right
just
now
shook. Hold on. Can we just take a moment?
What,
I'm shook.
That's what you. I was about to say. That's what you pressed. That's what you found.
I literally am Jesus knows. You need to talk about fear. What are you scared of? All right. So something's obviously what's going on. What are you scared of? What's your biggest fear?
Ooh.
Right now?
Ooh.
What is your fear?
I have a handful of fears.
Okay, what's your top?
And I know I shouldn't be fearful because Jesus has it all planned out, right? And you should trust the process and trust the plan. But here's the thing. I am a planner.
Ooh.
Boom. Let's make plans, baby. Yeah, I like to make plans for my life.
I
and
never really noticed that.
You didn't?
I mean, I did, but
that was
I just...
the joke.
I know.
It wasn't funny. It went over her head.
Oh, there was a joke?
I said, I'm a planner.
Oh...
She needs to go take a nap, I
Y'all,
guess.
I really am not okay. But yeah, I was just thinking I never really put it together how you were such a planner and then that is also your career.
Yeah.
You plan.
Yeah.
And you don't want anyone
Very
else to plan for you.
No.
It's even kind of hard sometimes. I'm trying to be Kristen, what if we did this? And you're no, we're going to do this. And I'm what if we tried this? And you're okay, is that what you want?
Well.
Okay, keep going.
No, I really think that is my biggest fear is when I don't have a plan. And currently I don't have a plan.
So
and
you just feel
yeah, I think this is the first time in my life where I've been really, not the first, maybe the second, very fearful of what's to come because I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, and you usually do
know how to deal with not knowing what things look like going forward.
And that's something I feel we all struggle with when our plans get shaken up and all of a sudden you're oh gosh, I don't see what's coming. And it's the perfect moment.
I really say, oh God, I don't see what's coming. I'm not trying to use that in vain. I'm trying to say.
God, help me.
God, I know I'm supposed to trust you and I know that
But it's scary.
Ooh,
it's
your
fearful.
plan, whatever's next. But yeah, I have a lot of fear about what's next.
Yeah.
And I know that whatever step I take is not wrong. I know that it's always the right step, even if it's not the right step.
Right. It leads you to the right.
Right. Correct.
And what's it called?
End result?
It leads you to...
Final destination. What's
Yeah.
next? It leads you to
It leads you to your
destiny.
there's a word I'm trying to find.
I don't know what word you're
It's
trying
all
to
right.
find.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Okay. So basically,
I'm gonna get fired today.
So basically, yeah, I think that's what it is. Like,
And it's something that like you're
and I don't like the feeling. I know that I'm not supposed to be fearful. I know that I'm supposed to be very
It's a battle.
trusting in what is happening next. But if I'm being very transparent right now,
you're
I'm
scared.
fearful.
You're
I'm
scared
scared.
shitless.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like you're like, okay, cool. And the main, like we hear this all the time, walk by faith, not by sight. So breaking that down, walking by sight is what you see. Like, I have work tomorrow. I have this. I'm going to do this on the weekend. You can see your future. That's walking by sight and just knowing what's next. Even
You
what
have a
we
plan.
talked about with like even just all the things always going in our
to-do list.
minds,
There's
our
a
to-do
to-do
list.
list.
That is your plan. But
Well, let
walking
me
by
tell
faith,
you right now, I don't have.
so you're going to be starting to walk by faith, baby, because
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't see anything in your future. You see nothing.
Yeah,
You're like,
I have a lot
what?
of idle time currently.
Yeah.
And I am like, I guess I just need to go sit in the adoration chapel and like let the idle time like.
And sometimes
pew,
this
pew.
kind of like when this
Ideas.
happens, like this kind of stuff, like even going back to 2 years ago, I pulled my back out.
Why do I feel like you're screaming at me?
Oh God. Sorry. I just get a little,
I'm in trouble.
I just get a little excited.
All right.
But like going back to 2 years ago, I pulled my back out. I was bedridden and I was like, oh my gosh, this was not part of the plan. I was supposed to be doing something like big for work. I had to cancel 3 weeks of clients. Like I was like, what? And I had to be still for 3 weeks and I am not a still person.
either.
But it's sometimes in those moments you're like, well, you know what? I have nothing to do but lay in this bed and rest. And I actually got to binge watch a little TV and my husband and my mom and my kids were waiting on me. And it was like, okay, you need that sometimes.
Well, it's piggybacking off of last episode. If you don't take the rest, if you are not still, if you do not listen to Jesus, he will do it for you.
Yes. So like you're right now in your season of being still, which is hard for you.
Yeah, I'm not a still person. Anybody that knows me, I'm like, go, go, go. Let's get on the hamster wheel.
Like even last weekend, you're like, I have no plans this weekend. I don't know what, like, I have no plans this weekend. But how nice was it to be able to be like, I have no plans this weekend. You want to go to dinner? Or like, hey, I'm going to come over. Or you can come over. Or whatever. And you got to actually have that day you needed in your bed. Like, you weren't like letting other people down by like being like, I can't come to work or I have to cancel something because I need this day for myself. You got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes when we are forced to like slow down, and although right now you're like having these fearful thoughts of like, what's next? What's next?
I think too, okay, slowing down and having those moments of stillness and silence for me, like not having a plan.
Right.
I had to sit down with those thoughts and
You had to address them.
It's almost worse for me.
Yeah.
Because I do sometimes like I put things in the file cabinet in the back and like I ignore them because I don't necessarily want to face it, but I don't want to face it.
No, you don't want to face it.
Because it's hard. It's challenging.
It's hard. It's challenging.
It's new. It's different. It's like totally a struggle. So when I was already a little fearful, like these are my two words. Fearful and excited. All at the same time. Because I am so scared because I have no idea what's coming up. But I am so excited because I know it's something new and it's something that I'm controlling, but I'm not.
You're not. You have no control over it really because you don't know what's coming, but you're just like, ooh, this is good energy.
And like I can make the decision about what's next, but like I know that my life is about to change drastically and I don't know what way.
Yeah, but something. And that's where you just have to give that.
I'm really excited that things are changing because I need the change because I feel like I was a dud recently. Like
I don't think you were ever a dud.
Okay.
Maybe a milk dud. Sweet. Sweet little
and
candy. Sweet and sticky sometimes.
I'm like so excited because I don't know what's coming up and things are changing and I knew I needed a change. I knew I needed to shake things up a bit. I didn't really know that. Jesus said, you did not listen to me, so I'm going to shake it up and you're going to be excited for it.
Shake it like a salt shaker.
So I'm like, I'm really excited. I don't
Okay,
know
so
what's
now
coming
you've
next.
you're not scared, you're excited.
No, but I'm so fearful because I don't know what it is.
Okay, well, guess what?
I'm
now
feeling-
just drop the
I am
fear and be
feeling
excited.
fear and excitement
At the
all
same
at
time.
the same time. And I really need to learn how to not untangle my emotions, but yes, untangle my emotions. Like joy and sadness,
Right.
fear
And a lot of times,
and excitement.
fear stops us, prevents us from doing something that we are called to do or meant to do. So it could be anything like fearful of moving, fearful of trying a new career path, fearful of going on a date, fearful of all sorts of things. Being fearful and
Are you
letting
calling me out?
I don't know. I just kind of did name a bunch of things in your life, but that wasn't really what I was going with that.
That was intentional. She just really dug at me, so I had probably to
I
to
literally
face
said
it.
I literally said everything. But being fearful stops you from doing things that God has planned for you because it sounds scary.
Well, and I am the type of person that like all of those things scare me because I don't know what it looks like. If
you
I
need to
make,
see 6 months from now, how is that going to work
Yes.
out for me?
Yes.
We don't get to
Like-
pick that, baby. Sorry. We just don't. I'm the same way. I'm like, well, if I make this decision, I need to know.
What's it gonna look like?
Yeah,
moving
if I
forward?
move, am I gonna miss being home? I'm not moving. You're the one who talks about that sometimes. But if I go here,
but I can
how is
always
that gonna
move
look?
back.
Exactly.
Right, but that's
But
that's
it's scary.
something I'm fearful of. Is like,
And it does stop
am I gonna
us.
have a community of people? Am I
Yeah.
gonna?
Fear of being the new girl, fear of being alone, fear of being
I've
missing
always had a
out on
plan.
something. Fear, but it could stop you from something that's so much greater. And I'm going to stop myself because I'm not trying to tell you to move. Because I would be fearful of losing my friend.
Right.
What would I do without you?
You'll
But
figure it
no,
out.
but seriously, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll probably just be here alone.
Okay, that's so dramatic. As if you would never see me again. Dramatic.
I'm just kidding. But yeah,
You know
it
the
does.
last time I felt like this was
What?
when I had something planned. It was making college dance team for the 4th year.
There we go.
I was on the team for
Testimony.
3 years. Ooh, haha.
Share it.
Is it? It's time. Okay.
This is a good one.
Yeah. All right. We'll unravel this. So if you don't know my past, I danced my whole life, and I went on to college to be an LSU Tiger Girls. Go Tigers. And I was on the team for 3 years. Freshman, sophomore, junior year. You have to try out every year. Well, this was back in the day. You don't have to do that anymore.
You don't?
No, you get recruited now. To some
Ooh.
colleges. Some
That's cool,
colleges
that's
is
cool.
recruitment. Some colleges
That's
are
really cool.
auditions. Some are a mix of both. You have to be recruited to
To
even
audition.
be invited to audition.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it, cool.
So times have changed. I went to college 11 years ago, so times have changed. Okay, show my age. I don't even feel that old though.
We're not old.
I feel like I just got out of college.
We're 12.
Anyway, squirreling.
I'm 16.
You're squirreling.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, was on a college dance team for 3 years, and you have to try out every year. So going into my senior year, I had this weird feeling, really, really gut feeling that something was not right.
Ooh.
I don't know why I felt that way. Just the way things led up to it, I guess. I just felt
Something
and I
was,
always, me, the planner, always has.
I have to sneeze now.
Okay. God bless you. Just one or more.
It's usually 3, but
You're done.
I'm one and done.
Okay.
Sorry to
So,
interrupt.
I obviously am a planner, so I always had my plan A, which was to make LSU Tiger Girls again.
Senior year.
Senior year. It's my last year, right? I've been on the team for 3 years. Senior year, let's go. But every single year, starting from my freshman year, I always had a backup plan. I always had B, C, D. I always had another plan. And my other plan was, what auditions are after this weekend of auditions?
So in case you didn't make it,
So in
you could
case
try
I
out
didn't
somewhere
make
else.
it,
Yeah.
I could go to another school.
Right.
That was always an option. I
Dance
wasn't.
came first.
Yeah, for me. Oops.
For us.
Yeah, I had to dance in college. I didn't care where it was. I was
Yeah.
going to get an education no matter where I went, but I had to be on a college dance team.
For sure.
That was my plan. That was my path,
Right.
right? So anyway, long story short, I didn't make it. I auditioned, didn't make it my 4th year. Yes, wild, crazy. Okay, we've moved
It
on from
actually
it.
was a little cuckoo cuckoo.
It was a little cuckoo
But
crazy. And it was
we
really
have
hard.
healed.
Yeah, we have healed from it. So
But
it's
that
easy
was
to
tough.
talk about. But
that was rejection at its greatest for you.
yeah, it was literally a breakup.
Yeah.
And it was like, I got broken up with.
You got dumped
I did,
by
yeah,
LSU.
I did.
I'm sorry.
And then like all the girls that were on the team with me were my best friends.
Literal best friends.
You know, so like when you go through a breakup, you're still friends with people that you were friends with.
Yeah. Wow.
As a couple,
this
right?
This is a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the only way I like made it through.
Yeah, it made it make sense.
So, you know, all of my friends after that were like, it's okay. Like, we're still your friend. Like, you're not leaving. Like, no, you're staying. And I was like, I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I'm
like,
leaving.
No one is making this choice for me that I'm done dancing. And they're like, well, you don't have to be done dancing. Like, you can get involved. Like, you're in a sorority. You can dance in your sorority. You can go teach at your old studio. You can do private lessons. You can do all these things. I'm like, no, I'm not done. Like, I know that for a fact. I'm not done. So, like, my mom drove up there and she's like, you want to go to Memphis? Because that was the only audition left.
After
that I wanted, that I would go to school.
Right.
Okay, there were probably a couple more, but like of places that I knew I would go and want to be a part of, that was like literally the only one left. So my mom drives up to Baton Rouge, gets there in like 40 minutes. And she's like, do you want to go to the University of Memphis? Do you want to transfer? And I was like, can you give me 24 hours? Like, I don't want to make any rash decisions. Like, I need to sit on this. And she's like, well, that's what you looked up before. I'm like, I know, but like, do you really think that that's going to happen? Like,
right. You're like, there's no way.
You always have a backup. I always have a backup plan. But I'm like,
I never saw this coming.
Yeah, is this really going to happen? Anyway, it happened. Whew. So yeah, so I went to the University of Memphis and, I think I had 2 weeks before their tryout. So it was like I had 1 week to like get over what just happened to me and to prepare. Like I had to get a solo. I had to submit my transcripts. I had to do everything, application for transfer. I had to introduce myself to the coach and like talk to her in some kind of way. Like, is this even possible? What if I'm not accepted to the school? Like, there was a long list of spiraling things that happened once this happened, right? And then the next week we had finals. So like I have to pass my classes
to get to go to a new school.
Yeah. So it was just like, you know, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was pouring thunderstorm, like close to a tornado.
Tornadoes.
That's how I felt. And every day, like up to this, obviously I was like hanging out with my friends. I like had just signed a lease on a new townhome. Like,
not the townhome.
Things just were crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I had plans to
like
move with two other friends and I'm like,
you had a plan.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to leave them high and dry, but
I gotta go.
I can't. Yeah, like
like you had a plan and it was rocked.
Yes, but then also at the same time, so like I'm combing through all of these things, and every day there was like a feeling of fear of like, whew, am I really leaving? Like I'm gonna be the new girl as a senior.
Yeah.
I was about to turn 22 years old, and I was gonna be the new girl.
Again, like not again, but like that feeling of like each year you move to like junior high, and then you're the youngest, and high school, and then college, and
like
now
I had
you're
been
like
on this team, and I finally like was a vet.
Seniority, like you were the top.
And so every day it was just like something new. It was like a new city, like. You know, I was
Can you imagine had you let these fearful thoughts stop you?
Though they almost did.
Right. And like the chunk of your life that would be missing.
Well, this is like every day something was telling me like,
don't go.
Don't go, don't go, don't go. Like, I don't know that this is right. Like, look at everything you're leaving behind. Look at what, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I remember the night before I got on a flight, I was hysterically crying. And my dad said, just go. Just show up. When you walk in that building for that audition, you will know.
Yep.
Like, you will know, maybe even from the moment you step off the plane. Like, you will know when you walk in there if it is a place for you or if it is not a place for you. And he said, but let me tell you, if you audition for that team and you make it, you're staying for a whole year. I love him. So then like,
you're like, fear, okay, so I'll know, but also like, I don't get a choice.
Like the fear crept in again. I'm like, in 48 hours, I have to make a decision for the next at least year of my life.
Yeah.
Like I was in it.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I made that team, I was in it. Right. So, luckily I like when I got off the airplane and like from the moment I moved back from Memphis, like everything was in line. Every single person I met was nice. Everywhere I went, I felt welcome. Like everybody was sweet. yeah,
fell into place.
It fell into place, and it was meant to
Because
happen.
whose hand was on that?
Jesus, but I had to surrender.
Not Kristen's hand, Jesus' hand.
I had to surrender.
You had faith.
Those feelings and those thoughts,
you
right?
did.
And now, like, that was
so brave.
yeah.
Do you know how brave that was? Like,
the,
looking back, or you just like, I can't believe I did that.
No, I
Go
can't believe I did that.
Pat yourself on the back,
Thanks,
sister.
girl. Yeah, as a 22-year-old
yeah.
senior, I was like in the back line,
right,
with all freshmen. Let me tell you, most of those freshmen are some of my best friends today, right? Because I went through something with them that.
Yeah, you were able to relate to them, and they were like, they probably respected you so much at the time. Like,
I was old.
I guess I didn't remember you being in the back line. How was that?
Yeah, it was.
I've never been in the back line.
Look,
I'm just kidding.
Look, I was grateful to be on a team.
I've definitely been in the back line.
Yeah, same.
But like,
obviously, but like I was grateful to be on a team. I didn't care.
Yeah, you were just dancing.
At that point, like, yeah, I had lifted my hands and I surrendered, and I was like, you know what?
This is it.
I just have to be myself.
Yep.
I have to bring myself to this. I may be 22 years old with 18-year-olds standing next to me.
Like, how cool.
Yeah, but like,
to like look
this
back
was a
on that.
new experience, and
yeah.
I had no choice at that point, and I was grateful to be able to be a part of something that,
right,
you know,
was so much bigger than
one door closed and another one
a bunch opened,
and
that's like what happens when we give it to God and we have faith in His plan for us. Like, typically the door that closes that seems so hard for us to close opens 1,000 new doors that you're like,
you just have to surrender.
Oh my gosh,
but
thank you.
to say, like, even when I did make the team and even like living there, I was fearful every day.
Yeah.
Like, I even remember I made it and then I was like, wait, I'm moving.
Oh my
gosh. Wait. I made the team, but now I have to move. Wait, now I have to make all new friends.
Yeah.
And like, just relationships that you were leaving behind.
Right.
Like, friendships, boyfriends,
Yep.
sorority,
me,
another team.
I mean, it must have been hard to leave me.
I mean, I lived with you for a hot second.
I know, that was fun.
Anyway, but yeah, all of these new things got open, but I was fearful of like, well, what if I don't have a new friend group?
Right.
What if
no one takes me in?
Right.
What if I'm a loser?
Right. What if I have nowhere to live? What if I don't like it?
Right.
And then I am 5.5 hours away from home, and I have to stay here for a
year
because my dad told me I had to. I committed to something, and I have to stay. Right.
I respect that.
Yeah. Shout out to my parents for making me start something and never letting me quit.
Yeah.
If you sign up for something,
you will complete it. You will complete it. Yep.
For the time that you have to.
Yeah.
It's like that is one of the best lessons in life. I think that I ever
totally agree. Like, you will finish. Mm-hmm. You signed up. You're not going to let your team down. You're not going to let
and if you don't like
anyone
it, there's
else
an expiration
down.
date. It's okay.
It will end.
But yeah, there was always fear. And then, you know, like, I made this team, but what if I don't make it on the nationals mat? Like, I've been on the nationals mat before. What if I don't make it? Like, it was always a constant.
What if?
Yeah. Right. So there was always that fear. And yes, like you're saying, surrendering it was the probably best thing I could have ever done.
Yes.
And that was in the top decisions I've ever made in my entire life. But
like,
I don't really think I made those decisions.
You were shaken to like the point of this. I
had to surrender. I had to let my hands.
You better surrender to me.
Yeah.
Because I have a plan for you, baby.
And I had to let my hands up and say, like, okay,
take the wheel.
I was making like little decisions. Obviously, I had the final say of like, did I want to go to Memphis? Yeah, but like everything was pointing in those directions, and I had to just let it happen.
Yeah.
And then when I let it happen, like, I can't even tell you the amount of relationships and just wonderful experiences and opportunities that have come out of my life.
Kristen,
what?
If you did it once, you could do it again, girl.
I know.
And you were 22. Like, now you're older and wiser.
I'm 30.
Think how much greatness came from that. Like, first of all, you have begun your journey to surrendering to your new plan, because it was hard it's taken you up until like over a year to like actually get things moving. But like and
thinking I would have a plan, and now I still don't have
because
a plan.
that's how it works. Like, Jesus is like, girl, I got it. Like, you just chill out and let me take that wheel. Like, let me do this for you. And those doors are going to open. Like, which
is why I'm excited. Because
yeah,
I'm like,
you know,
I'm excited.
You've been there. You know God's plan is greater. You know He has goodness for you. Like, you know, but you're just like, so can you give me a clue? Like, You want to give me a little
What's next?
tidbit of what's going to happen? But like, no,
Do I take an
you don't work like
inch?
that.
Do I take an inch? Do I run a mile? Where do I go from
Where
here?
do I go?
Let it go. As
Let it go.
Elsa says.
Yeah, but seriously, like, these fears could have held you back, and you would have never. What? Like, just alone the people that came into your life that are
Yeah.
still so important to you. Like, what would your life be without them? And then just like being on a different team, and just the growth you probably got in that year from moving away from everything you knew, and like that confidence you probably got. That's like, wow, looking back, like, I did that. Look at me. Like,
And you
how
know,
cool.
I will tell you, I know you're not supposed to regret things, but I will tell you the one thing that I like
Well, that's
probably
hard.
regret.
That's hard not to have regrets.
It's just when I made that change and that decision, I did let the fear creep in,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
every day. And I was still so worried about what was happening at home and what was happening with my friends and those relationships that, like, I think eventually I fully immersed myself in my life there.
Right.
But I didn't as soon as I should have.
like you always
I
kind of had a
wish-
little wall up.
Yes, and I wish I would have been a little more present.
Yeah.
And so that would be my only, like, quote unquote regret. And I know it happened as it should, and
Right.
you're
But
not
like
supposed to regret
when you
things,
feel
but,
like you could have had a little control over something like that. But I feel like us going through like such a big like life change or life whatever it is, like sometimes in the moment it is so hard to like get lost in like what's actually happening.
and like not keep your hand or your foot like in
Yes,
that door a
yes,
little bit, right?
for sure.
Like one door closed, but a window was cracked, right? Like I kept my relationships,
Right.
open, and I would come home, not often, but like some weekends if we had nothing, I would run home because that was familiar to me, and I didn't let myself be present there, and
Right. Right.
and
Just
I
get it.
finally like immersed myself in those full relationships, but sometimes I wish I would have done it sooner, and I let the fear of what it was
Just kind of
stop me from it,
Yeah.
and I wish I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my biggest note is like if you get pushed. Oh, I should take my own advice.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you
literally
get-
sitting here like, I hope you tune in to this episode when it
I need to play
when
it
it
back.
airs.
Play it back.
because you're
But,
giving
like,
some good advice. For
Yeah, well,
yourself.
and that's. But the fear is real.
It is. It is. Oh gosh,
And,
there's
okay,
fear in everything.
So like when you are so fearful of something, like how do you not be? How do you stop that feeling?
Shall I? God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. So we will not fear when earthquakes come and the mountains crumble into the sea. I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. So don't be troubled or afraid.
Period.
So just turn
Amen.
to God, please. Like, and I'm telling myself that, like, it's so easy to just get in our thoughts.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, literally, I gotta give this to God. I gotta talk to God. I gotta pray. I gotta do these things that can like get me to that point because it's coming. But like, I'm so scared up until the end result or the final destination of wherever He's taking me.
Because you don't know what it looks like.
You don't know.
When last week I spoke with someone who's like a business coach, a leadership, person, just, and he's like, how much money do you want to make? And I was like, huh? And he's like, yeah, don't tell me like $150,000. Like you have to tell me like $153,000
And 20 cents.
literally.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, excuse me? And he's like, you have to be that specific. He's like, because look at this. What if you want to take a road trip to New York? You have to find out how many hours it's going to take you to get there. How much gas are you going to need? Where are you going to stop? Is it winter or is it summer? When are you taking the drive? Because what are you going to pack? And he's like, you have to figure out all these things to make it to that final destination. And I'm like listening to him talk and I'm like literally crumbling because I'm like, right now, I have none of these answers.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much money I want to make. I can't tell you where I want to live next week. I
Yeah.
can't tell you. And that is so not like me. Normally, I'd be like, oh, I want to move here. This
This
is where I
is how
want
it's
to
gonna
live.
take
This
to
is when
get
I want
there.
to do it.
Yeah.
I've got everything planned out.
But you don't.
I have not a clue.
I know. I really do know.
And then when he asked me that, I spiraled. And I'm like, should I have this figured
Yeah.
out? And I think that was I don't know. Like,
It was scary.
Literally, it was so scary. And he's like, you have to have this. You have to know. And you have to be specific about it. And you have to be intentional. And I'm like,
Okay.
normally I would be, but right
Get back
now.
with me later on that, please.
Right now, I'm just not.
I don't have any plans. Here I am, which is like
And when
crazy.
I do, I will figure all of those things out.
Oh, you will. You just don't know yet.
Yeah.
So besides like the fear of not obviously knowing your path right now, like, is there anything else that has you super fearful in this moment?
Yeah, a lot of things.
I'm
But
just
like,
trying to
again,
dig
that's
it
a
up.
path. Like,
Yeah.
there are a career path, a location of living. Will I ever get married? Will I ever have children? All things I want to know.
Speaking of that,
And I'm speaking it out. I will.
you will, we know. But I think it's just good to like vocalize that you have all these fears
I hate
because
talking about
I
them.
know you do. That's why I'm like digging out of you. But I think like a lot of people see you and they're like, oh my God, same like you've told me, like, oh, she has it all together. She's always doing all of this and that. Like, and how many people ask you, like, are you dating? Are you like, who are you seeing? Why don't you have a boyfriend? You're such
Worst
a catch.
question to ever ask a single person. I just want everybody to know
Don't
that.
ask her if she's dating, because if she is,
You'll know.
You'll
I'll
know.
tell you.
he'll be on the gram, okay? Wherever you are out there, I hope you're ready to be on social media, because you will be. But like, it's good for you to vocalize you're fearful of,
Yeah.
will I ever have a husband? Where am I going to live? Where am I? Because people look at you and think, she's so happy, she's thriving, she's da-da-da, but you have all these like very real fears.
Yeah.
That people can relate to.
Right.
Like, you are not the only single 31-year-old catch, and people.
I'm not 31 yet.
32-year-old, 31. I'm 32. I'm doing the math. I'm like, you're almost you're 30. But you are not the only single woman like out there that's like has fear of, will I get married? That's something that I know a lot of people are like can relate to.
Well, and I think too, that's like, you know, when people are dating somebody for a long time, like they get the question of, so when are you going to get engaged? Like, are you ready yet?
There's
Okay.
always a question.
Yes. So when's the wedding? You get engaged. When's the wedding? When's the wedding? When's the wedding?
Yep.
Then the next question, are y'all going to have kids? When are you going to have kids?
Then
you
after
have
that
one
first kid.
When are you
When's
going to
your
have a second
kid?
one? Like,
People still ask me, when are you going to have your fourth kid? I'm like, well, do you know that 4 is a lot, and like some people don't ever have 4 kids? Like, what makes us think we can still like ask these personal questions to people? I don't know.
and you know, sometimes I wonder, like, is it people just trying to make conversation?
Yes.
Because like that kind of looks like that
Yes.
maybe is the next step in their life. Like, I guess maybe in the realm and community that we
Yes.
live in, right? But sometimes I think we need to be cautious about it. Because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when people ask me that question, like, why don't you have a boyfriend? Do you think it makes me feel good? Like, I spiral. I'm like, you're right.
Why don't I have a boyfriend? What is
And
wrong
then
with
you,
me?
yeah, and then you go through these things of like, ooh, should I? Why don't I?
Yeah.
Am I not good
Is it
enough?
me?
Is it me? What
Yeah.
am I doing wrong? Am I not ready for it? Do I have an energy that like doesn't
Yeah.
show it? Like, do I have? I don't
Right.
know.
No,
It's
and I
like,
think that's with anything in life. Like,
But then you go through this fear of like, wow, if all these people think like I should have a boyfriend right now, and
People
I don't. I am so
instill-
fearful. What if I don't get one?
right. And like, I think we as humans instill fear into people accidentally with these types of questions, because it's like, you might have been going about your day and they're like, so why don't you have a boyfriend? And you're like, oh, great.
Huh?
What if I never do? Oh, what if? And all these like thoughts start. And it's the same thing with like you were saying, like people ask you like, when are y'all getting married? And like, what if the girl is just like desperately waiting for that ring and there's no conversation about it? And then you asked, when are y'all going to get engaged? And you're like, good question. Ask him. And then that's awkward.
Right.
So like asking these type of questions that instill
Or like
fear in
that may
us.
like cause turmoil in their relationship because they may not be ready to talk
Right.
about that yet. But then you made her or him feel
Someone's
like they need
fearful.
to talk. Right. Then
Someone's
they feel like
freaking out
they
and
need
that-
to talk about it and they like weren't ready.
Right. And that's like just a little example, though, even how like we play a part in each other's fear. Like on not even purposely, but like
Right.
asking those kind of questions, or like probably when you didn't make the team, people asking you, what are you going to do now?
Somebody told me congratulations at the bar the next night when we went out. He
Oh.
was like, congrats, like on Tiger Girls. And I was like,
I didn't make it.
I didn't make it. And he's like, wait, I saw everybody like like y'all are all out together, like you all posted pictures, and then like I had to relive it, and
You're like, I wasn't in that pic, bro.
Great.
Check the tags.
Great.
But seriously,
You know?
I bet people were asking you like, so what are you gonna do now?
And you already have so
And you're like,
much fear about really what's next.
And that's probably even right now with you leaving your job that you've been at for 8 years. People are like, so what's the plan, girl? And you're like, don't know.
Yeah.
Ask Jesus.
Right. Like I'm focusing on my business. We are building this thing.
Yes. And you're hustling. And it's like.
But is that really? Yeah, it's my plan. Like,
it's your plan.
Like I love it. It's wonderful.
But who knows?
Right. Is that my calling?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that's your calling.
Yeah.
Like you're so good at that. Let's make plans. If y'all need an event coordinator.
Any kind of event, call me
Just
up.
going to slide that in there really quick.
Yeah.
Little commercial moment. But
When and then like piggybacking off of that, I'm like thinking about the guy that was talking at the, I didn't really watch it, so I'm not going to speak too much about it. Like, please don't come at me. The guy.
Come at her. I'm just kidding.
The guy that's the kicker for.
Oh, I didn't even get into it.
Me either, but I've just like seen things about it and about him saying like, the jobs and the greatest job is being a mom. Well, like, what if somebody doesn't feel like they're calling life as being a mom, but now they're so fearful about being a wife and a mom because
that
like,
actually,
they hear
I have
stuff
heard
like
of that happening.
Do you know what I'm saying? They're like,
I love being a mom, but I don't feel like it's my only calling, and I still want to have a job. And like, what is something wrong with me?
right? And
I
then
hear
you
all
get
these
so fearful that you are making the wrong decision. Right?
It is tough out there in the streets.
It is.
I'm out here trying to find this.
But I think the only person that knows our
microphone.
path is Jesus, and we just need to surrender to it and not be fearful. It's very hard.
It is. I think that's actually one of the hardest things to do is to just surrender. And we talk about it often, like how it's like, let go, let God, or just give it to God. And it's like so easy to say, why can't we just make it easy to do? Because we're humans and we're messed up in the head. I'm just kidding. Okay, wait.
Because we're supposed to trust Jesus, and just when we're not there in that relationship and we're not trusting, then
things get twisted. Twisted tea.
Don't get it twisted.
Things get twisted. And it is like, again, who brings us those negative thoughts in our mind?
The demon.
The demon. Y'all, Ezra really does call Satan the demon, and it's so cute. It's just like, he's like, the demon cannot get me. If the demon has something to say or tries to do, we just have to say, help me, God. And just saying God will scare the demon away.
I love that childlike faith. We need to bring the kids
He's
on
coming
here.
on. He's coming on.
Yeah,
because he is like...
He has to tell us what he thinks.
He has some good... Like, he'll, like, say stuff, like, randomly, and I'm like... kids are so innocent and sweet for a reason, because it really brings us like to earth sometimes to hear their perspective or the way they say stuff. And you're just like, you're right. Yeah. All we have to say is help me, God.
Yeah.
And the demon will run away.
Yeah.
He said, just saying God's name will scare the demon away.
He's not wrong.
I'm like, you were right. Like, have faith over fear. Like, know that what you're like thinking about and what you're fearful of is, if you just give it to God, all those thoughts will trickle down. So be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not panic before them. For the Lord your God will personally go ahead of you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you.
And I think that's just a wrap.
It is. I mean, straight up. He will never fail you nor abandon you. He is always with you through all of these fearful thoughts, fearful experiences. He is with you. So let go, let God, baby.
Let go, let God. All right.
All right. See y'all next time.